Have you ever sat down to do something simple, like answer one email, and somehow, 40 minutes later, you're staring at your screen, your jaw is tight, your shoulders are up around your ears, and your brain just feels fried? You're not sleepy, you're not lazy, you're not even bored. You're just mentally done. And the weirdest part is this. You didn't do anything hard. You didn't run a marathon. You didn't solve advanced math. You didn't make a life-changing decision. Yet your brain feels like it's been running all day with no breaks. If that feels uncomfortably familiar, yeah, same. And that exact feeling is what we're talking about today. My name is Mike, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the brain handles modern life. If you're someone who feels mentally tired, overwhelmed, or constantly distracted, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now look, this video is not about motivation. It's not about discipline. It's definitely not about just focusing harder. Because here's the thing, most people aren't mentally tired because they're doing too much. They're tired because their brain is doing the wrong kind of work all day, every day. And once you see this, a lot of things about your attention, your focus, and your exhaustion suddenly make sense. Let's challenge a really common idea right away. Most people assume that mental tiredness comes from effort. You think, I'm tired because I've been working too hard. I'm overwhelmed because I'm doing too much. If I just rest more or sleep better, my brain will feel fine. And, that sounds reasonable. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain doesn't get tired primarily from thinking. It gets tired from constant switching, filtering, and deciding. That's the real drain. Not deep work, not learning, not even problem solving. It's the non-stop background management of modern life. And this is where it gets really interesting. Mental fatigue today doesn't feel like the old kind of tired. It doesn't say, I need to lie down. It says, I can't concentrate. Everything feels noisy. Small decisions feel weirdly hard. I want to do something, but not this. That feeling, where your brain wants stimulation but also can't handle anymore, is a classic sign of cognitive overload, not low energy. And overload is sneaky, because on the surface, your day looks easy. You're sitting, you're scrolling, you're clicking, you're answering messages. But under the hood, your brain is sprinting. So here it is. The main reason your brain feels tired all the time. Your attention is being fragmented into hundreds of tiny pieces every day. Not once in a while, not during stressful moments, all day. Your brain is constantly being pulled from one context to another. Email message, notification app, thought, reminder, decision. And every switch has a cost. Not an emotional cost, a cognitive one. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I switch tasks all the time. I'm used to it. That's the problem. Your brain never evolved for rapid context switching. Each time you shift attention, even briefly, your brain has to let go of the previous context. Load a new set of rules. Reorient to what matters. Decide what to ignore. That process burns mental energy. And studies have shown that frequent task switching can reduce effective productivity by up to 40%, not because you're slower, but because your brain is constantly rebooting. It's like closing and reopening apps all day instead of letting one program run. Individually, each switch feels harmless. Collectively, exhausting. Let's talk about screens for a second, without turning this into a phones are bad rant. The average adult checks their phone between 80 and 150 times per day, depending on the study. And no, it's not because you're addicted in some dramatic sense. It's because your brain is responding to uncertainty. Every notification carries a tiny question. Is this important? Do I need to respond? Did I miss something? That question alone activates attention systems. Even if you don't open the notification, even if you glance and ignore it, your brain still had to check. And that checking is work. This is where bad advice really frustrates me. People will say, you're just unmotivated. You need more discipline. Try harder to focus. But look, if your brain is already overloaded, motivation doesn't help. In fact, trying to force focus on an overloaded system often makes things worse. It's like yelling at a computer that's overheating. The issue isn't willpower, it's bandwidth. Here's another piece most people don't realize. Your brain has to make thousands of tiny decisions every day. Not big life decisions, micro decisions. Should I respond now or later? Do I keep reading this? Should I switch tasks? Is this worth my attention? By the end of the day, your brain isn't tired from work. It's tired from deciding what to do with information. Research suggests that adults make upwards of 30,000 decisions per day, many of them attention-related. And attention decisions are expensive. Ever notice this? Some days you do physically more. Errands, movement, conversations, and feel fine. Other days you sit at a desk and feel mentally wrecked. That's because physical activity often reduces cognitive load, whereas passive screen use increases it. Your brain loves rhythm, continuity, and clear signals. Modern digital life gives it constant novelty, ambiguous importance, no clear stopping points, so your attention never gets to fully rest. Let's talk about overthinking. Most people think overthinking means I think too much, but that's not accurate. Overthinking is often what happens when your brain doesn't get closure, when tasks stay open, when inputs keep arriving, when there's no clear done. Your brain keeps looping because it hasn't received a completion signal. Look, the brain hates unfinished business, not emotionally, mechanically. And modern life is basically an endless list of half-finished mental tabs. Now, I don't want to make this sound dramatic, but attention is literally the business model of the internet. Platforms are optimized to interrupt you, pull you back, keep you slightly uncertain, not because they're evil, but because it works. Your brain didn't evolve for that environment, so feeling mentally tired isn't a failure. It's a predictable response. Mental clarity isn't about adding more tools. It's about reducing unnecessary cognitive work. Most productivity advice says, do more systems, optimize your habits, track everything. But clarity comes from subtraction, from fewer switches, from fewer inputs, from fewer decisions. Think of your brain like a desk, not a digital one, a real desk. If you cover it with papers, tools, sticky notes, and random objects, even simple tasks feel hard. Not because the task is difficult, but because the environment is cluttered. Mental clutter works the same way. Now you might be thinking, okay, so I'll just rest more. Rest helps, but only temporarily. If the structure of your attention doesn't change, overload returns immediately. That's why weekends sometimes don't fix mental fatigue. You rest, but then jump right back into fragmentation. Clarity comes from fewer context switches, longer attention spans on one thing, clear boundaries between tasks, not from hype, not from hacks, not from motivation speeches, just simpler mental environments. Let's make this concrete. Nothing dramatic. 1. Reduce input before increasing focus. Before trying to concentrate, remove one source of interruption. 1. That's it. 2. Batch attention decisions. Check messages at set times instead of constantly. Fewer decisions, less fatigue. 3. Finish small loops. Complete small tasks fully. Closure reduces mental noise more than starting big things. That's it. Simple, boring, effective. Here's the part I really want to emphasize. If your brain feels tired all the time, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're living in a system that constantly pulls your attention apart. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Respond to signals. There are just too many signals. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this. You don't need more motivation. You don't need a new system. You don't need to fix yourself. You need fewer unnecessary demands on your attention. If this helped you see your mental fatigue differently, subscribe for simple explanations like this. Watch the next video in the series. And maybe today, just notice one small place where you can give your brain a little more continuity. Not perfection, just less noise. That's usually enough.